Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Soul Land 3 Legend of the Dragon King Part 57 based on novel. So let's start. Mid-charge, Byran suddenly crouched 10 meters away from Tang Wulin, his first soul ring lit up and he rushed forward with renewed vigor, his shield held in front of him. The three simultaneously attacked Tang Wulin. It seemed they planned on dealing with him first. Anis gripped Byran's heart in a tight fist. Although Tang Wulin only had one soul ring, it was at the 1,000-year level. He revised his impression of Tang Wulin as the most dangerous opponent. Tang Wulin stood steadfast in the face of the oncoming assault. With his speed, it was impossible to dodge all three attacks. Strands of grass shot at Wu Yuhan in an effort to bind his transformed body while scales rippled into existence on Tang Wulin's right arm as he defiantly reached out to grab the lightning ball. A silver hammer materialized in his left hand and he smashed it down upon the shield. He actually planned to hold back all three with just himself. Even the referee was shocked. A one-ring Soul Master wanted to battle with three Soul Masters that had higher cultivation bases than him. The first to clash was Wu Yuhan. Facing the variant blue-silver grass, he dared not be careless. Combat classes at Sky Sea Academy had taught them to spare no effort regardless of their opponent. Tang Wulin's purple soul ring had alarmed them. Although it was only his first soul ring, they dared not underestimate the power of a 1,000-year soul skill. With this in mind, Wu Yuhan did not hesitate to activate his second soul skill. Electricity exploded from his body to form a spherical aura of lightning around him and repelled the blue-silver grass. Without the grass in his way, Wu Yuhan lunged at Tang Wulin. At that moment, however, one vine among the many brightened as gold color seeped into its veins. It swerved around the electric barrier, circling the perimeter and quickly tightened, breaking through the lightning to bind Wu Yuhan. And at that moment, Lei Jun's lightning ball reached Tang Wulin. Tang Wulin's scaled hand suddenly transformed into the golden dragon claw and crushed the ball within his fist. A few sparks of electricity escaped from between his grip, dispersing instantly. Bang! The heavy silver hammer struck the charging shield. Iron Wave Shield, this was Byran's martial soul. As the name implied, the Iron Wave Shield possessed layers of waves that bolstered its strength. His first soul skill was Iron Wave Strike, a skill that combined both attack and defense. Coincidentally, his Iron Wave Strike was a three-layered attack. However, he was up against the 1,000 refined heavy silver hammer which had a thrice-stacked effect. Both Tang Wulin and Byran trembled as they collided. Similar to Tang Wulin, Byran possessed innate heavenly strength. When combined with his Iron Wave Shield and soul skill, he held absolute confidence in his strength. Unfortunately, his opponent was the monster Tang Wulin. The chasm between heavenly and divine strength was unbridgeable. Even though there was a large gap between their soul power levels, Tang Wulin's pure strength more than made up for it. After their clash, Tang Wulin swayed while Byran was forced back a step. Every single spectator watching the match sucked in a deep breath subconsciously. It was 1 versus 3, yet not only was Tang Wulin standing, he had dominated them. It was simply unfathomable. The assault of the Sky Sea Academy's secondary team had suddenly encountered an iron gate, forcing them to a screeching halt. Tang Wulin swung his claw at the Iron Wave Shield. Close quarters combat was his favorite. A figure also appeared behind Wu Yuhan. It was Xie Xie, attacking with his light dragon storm. To one side, a giant ball of water suddenly dropped on top of Lei Jun. When he was just about to launch his second soul skill, the water soaking him conducted his electricity and completely dispersed it, draining him of soul power. Bang! Another dull thud later, Byran was sent flying while blue-silver grass converged on him. Although Tang Wulin's golden dragon claw hadn't crushed Byran's Iron Wave Shield, it left a deep claw print. Byran felt as though he had been run over by a ferocious soul beast. Just trying to keep his shield intact had required all his soul power. Feeling overwhelmed, he had no choice but to activate his third soul skill. The Iron Wave Shield tripled in size and doubled in thickness, standing as a steady wall in front of him, but in the time it took him to activate it, vines of blue-silver grass had already slithered around his body, trapping him. A green light flashed and a cool breeze enveloped Tang Wulin's feet. Meanwhile, a portion of his blue-silver grass encroached upon the wet Lei Jun. Water conducted electricity, thus rapidly sapping Lei Jun's soul power. What was most tragic, however, was that the water soon froze into ice, leaving him incapable of defending against Tang Wulin's bind. Tang Wulin brazenly charged at the three-ring defense-type Soul Master, Bai Ran. Bang, 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 bang. The golden dragon claw struck 5 times in a row. Bai Ran had nearly coughed up blood after the first assault. He simply couldn't fathom how a person could possess so much strength. Despite using his third soul skill, the might of the golden dragon claw forced him to pour all his soul power into the shield lest it shatters. It was a 3-ring battling a 1-ringed soul master, yet Tang Wulin's innate divine strength elevated him to the same level. 1 claw strike forced Bai Ran back 1 step, 5 strikes had him backing up 5 steps. Anxiety was a hard knot in the pit of his stomach. After the successive attacks from Tang Wulin, the claw print on his shield had deepened and it was on the verge of shattering. Stop! The referee's voice was Bai Ran's saving grace. His legs softened and he nearly collapsed onto the ground. It was only by leaning on his shield that he was able to remain standing. The referee had protected Wu Yuhan from the unnoticed light dragon storm. As for Lei Jun, row upon row of icicles floated in the air surrounding him, ready to impale him at a moment's notice. Frozen and restricted by blue-silver grass, he was practically a lump of meat on the chopping block. The match is finished. It's the victory of East Sea Academy's Class 0. After recalling his blue-silver grass and letting his hand return to normal, Tang Wulin extended a hand to pull up the nearly collapsed Bai Ran. Senior, thanks for letting me win. At the sight of Tang Wulin's dazzling smile, Bai Ran found his lips twitching too. He couldn't accept losing this fast to someone with a weaker cultivation than him, but so what? A loss was a loss. Gu and Xie Xie regrouped at Tang Wulin's side. Although they had crucial roles in this battle, the star was undoubtedly Tang Wulin. Not only had he withstood the combined assault of 3 people stronger than him, he had also controlled the battlefield to set up an easy win for them. Bai Ran struggled to stand up, his right arm still quivering from the strength of Tang Wulin's strikes. He faintly heard Xie Xie mumble to himself, 3 rings isn't that great after all. He nearly coughed up blood at those words. Tang Wulin shared a similar sentiment with Xie Xie. Despite having 3 rings, the amount of pressure Bai Ran exerted on him couldn't compare with Yi Xinglan. Naturally, this was also part of the reason he could single-handedly restrain 3 opponents today. Their strongest opponent today was a defense-type Soul Master. Even if defense-type Soul Masters excelled in close-quarters combat, so too did Tang Wulin, as it was only in this type of combat could Tang Wulin display the tyrannical might of his golden dragon claw. Bai Ran had been unable to take the advantage with his soul skills, and from there, it was all downhill for him. Tang Wulin's claw possessed as much strength as a 3-ring power-type Soul Master, not to mention the claw's crushing effect. Bai Ran hadn't stood a chance. In truth, Bai Ran was quite lucky. Not all 6 of Tang Wulin's claw attacks had been imbued with the crushing effect. If it had, he would have been defeated even faster. It hadn't activated because the effect was more likely to appear when used on living beings. Round Robin Tournament's first round, victory. Sun with Rays. In Box 7. They are pretty good. It was Xinyi's first time watching Class 0 battle. She had specially enlarged their match on the screen. Tang Wulin's display of strength left a deep impression on her. Is his right arm the bloodline mutation you spoke of? Xinyi asked Wu Zhongkong. Wu Zhongkong nodded. A slight smile appeared on Xinyi's lips. He's really not simple at all. In my opinion, he doesn't just have a bloodline mutation, his talent is good too. He's suited for leading. Wu Zhongkong nodded once more. Xinyi continued on. His first soul ring is purple and his physique is excellent. Did you raise him to be like this? If he has 3 rings by the time he's 15, his body will likely transform again. You have an eye for disciples. Wu Zhongkong said, if you have time you can continue watching their matches. I'm going for now. He stood up to depart, his white robes fluttering along his strides. Shinyi watched as he left, blinking a few times. A pensive look settled on her face as she lost herself in contemplation. Sun with rays. Within box 3. Whether it was Mu Chen or Duan Xian, both wore faces of shock. For Mu Chen, this was his first time seeing Tang Wulin battle. He had rushed over not too long ago. Gaining experience or securing a spot in future tournaments was not why he had Tang Wulin compete. However, those reasons did serve as adequate veils masking his true intentions. It was more important to examine Tang Wulin's temperament. The most crucial aspect of a master and disciple relationship was not the disciple's ability to receive the teachings. Rather, it was that the disciple have an upstanding character. If problems arose and the student surpassed the teacher, then the former's immoral character would lead to ruin. Tang Wulin was not shy about his love for money. Consequently, Mu Chen concocted this trap to entice him. In the end, Tang Wulin's nobility triumphed over his greed, much to Mu Chen's satisfaction. Mu Chen had not been skeptical about whether Tang Wulin would pass this test. After all, Tang Wulin was at an easily influenced age. With Mu Chen guiding him like a hen with its chicks, there was no reason to be worried. Despite that, Tang Wulin was maturing too quickly. Against all expectations, he advanced to the 4th rank in less than a year. The association needed to invest more resources into him in order to facilitate his growth. They chose to use the Sky Sea Alliance tournament as a test to determine how successful their efforts had been. The results were satisfactory. Tang Wulin gave up first place to Mu Xi willingly and declined Duan Xian's tempting offer. Furthermore, he displayed tremendous battle strength. Mu Chen was surprised pleasantly. I didn't think this brat's combat ability would be so great. With a single ring, he beat a 3-ringed opponent. And his 1 ring is of the 1000-year level. Those spirit items I helped him buy were probably used to help refine his body, Mu Chen said with a smile. After a moment of stupor, Duan Xian's brows creased. You think this is a good thing? Mu Chen was taken aback. Teacher, what's wrong with it? Duan Xian sighed gently, his concern apparent. If he has talent as a soul master, then would he spend energy on blacksmithing? We want him to become a divine blacksmith or a battle armor master, you know. A trace of a smile flickered on Mu Chen's lips. I've already thought of an answer to this problem. Long ago, I had asked him what his dream was. He told me he wanted to become battle armor master. I support his plan. Astonishment filled Duan Xian's eyes. You're in favor of this? Mu Chen nodded. His martial soul and body are quite peculiar. As a blacksmith, he has been blessed by heaven. He possesses not just innate divine strength but also piercing insight. In fact, his cultivation can't keep up with his talent for blacksmithing at the moment. It's a shackle restraining him to the 4th rank. To him, blacksmithing is a tool to earn money. Unlike other trades like mecha crafting and designing, blacksmithing is not tied directly to battle armor masters. However, it will still be highly beneficial in achieving his goals. I dare say, becoming a saint blacksmith would be more helpful than becoming a mecha craftsman or designer. I'm convinced that he won't choose another profession. This situation is the epitome of where guiding beats opposing. I won't disapprove of his efforts toward becoming a battle armor master, rather, I'll encourage it. As long as I can convince him that the foundation of a battle armor master stems from being a first-rank blacksmith, it'll be enough to steer him in the right direction. Sure, battle armor masters are the greatest occupations on the continent, but less than 1 in 100 soul masters can walk that path. The requirements are astronomical. Aside from Shrek Academy, who dares say their students will definitely become battle armor masters? Nevertheless, if he advances into a saint blacksmith, his chances of success would be tangible. He's a clever kid, he'll know what choice is best for him. Bearing profound eyes, Duan Xian stared at Mu Chen with a deep and penetrative gaze. I'm so old now. My mind can't keep up with the latest trends. Maybe you're right. Mu Chen's expression lit up. You can rest at ease. There's no one who wants this kid to be a blacksmith more than me. I'm looking forward to seeing if I can raise a divine blacksmith. Duan Xian chuckled. You mean like how I, a 7th-ranked blacksmith, raised an 8th-ranked blacksmith like you? Sun with rays. Tang Wulin and his teammates were in high spirits when they descended from the arena. In today's match, Tang Wulin had been able to display his full might in close combat, attaining a swift victory with a blitzkrieg strategy. However, after reviewing the battles from the last few days, he discovered one problem that seemed to plague the entire junior division: the participants had no combat experience. The majority of them weren't able to showcase their true strength in battle. It had been the same in both the individual and team competitions. While the members of Sky Sea Academy's secondary team were able to use their soul skills during the match, they had performed mechanically without any finesse. Not to mention Wu Zhangkong's level of skill, they couldn't even match Tang Wulin's soul skill proficiency. He could pulverize them with a lower cultivation because they were too green. They were so weak. It looks like soul power isn't that important after all. Xie Xie came to the same conclusion and was now bursting with confidence. Gu had a pensive expression. It's not that they were weak, but that our combat experience outweighed theirs. Xu Xiaoyan said, That's right. Teacher Wu doesn't teach us the same way as conventional Soul Master academies do. They focus on imparting knowledge. Even if the schools host combat practice, they do it in the safest way possible. The students just stand there using their soul skills against each other. It's completely different from our real battles. After joining Class 0, Xu Xiaoyan discovered quickly how far the original trio exceeded her in combat prowess. Because she had yet to train in the Spirit Ascension platform, she had been unable to comprehend the source of their strength. As such, she strived to catch up with them. Coupled with the spars against Wu Zhongkong, she began to understand what made Class 0 so strong. Wu Zhongkong did not go easy on them during combat training. It was normal to finish each session covered in bruises and cuts. His training regimen was incomparable with a normal class's curriculum. Although the growth rate of their soul power settled, their combat strength soared. Xie Xie immersed himself in thought. The Sky Sea Alliance has always been inferior to the Central and Western regions in terms of Soul Master ability. This might be because of different teaching methods and history. Mechas exist now. Normally, anyone with 4 rings or less is no match for a mecha. Most people choose to take the easy way out. As long as their soul power grows to a sufficient level, they can become a mecha pilot. It's a pretty good occupation too. This is also why the majority of students entering an advanced academy choose to join the mecha department to become mecha pilots. I heard things are different in the center and western regions. Apparently, becoming a battle armor master is a lot more popular there. That's why many of those people choose to walk a pure soul master's path. They don't rush to increase their soul powers blindly. In order to be a battle armor master, it's important to also be a formidable soul master. Because of this mindset, there are more battle armor masters produced by the center and western regions. In their eyes, battle armor masters are the greatest military force on the continent, so they all strive to become one. I believe this difference in perspectives has created the current gap in strength. I think Teacher Wu's teaching methods are similar to the center regions. In fact, they are probably from Shrek academies in a court. This should be why we're stronger than our peers. Tang Wulin couldn't help but raise a brow at Xie Xie's theory. How do you know these things? He couldn't believe that this was something Xie Xie dug up himself. Xie Xie smirked. When I returned home for vacation, I wanted to play, but my old man was bent on testing me. I gave him a nice surprise in the end. After I explained the training we'd been through, he told me about this stuff. My old man is quite perceptive, you know. Tang Wulin nodded. What Uncle said is reasonable. Let's all work hard to become battle armor masters. He extended his hand as he spoke. Gu placed her hand below his. On top were Xie Xie and Xu Xiaoyan's. The 4 friends smiled at each other, their confidence soaring. Sun with rays. Tang Wulin's team was able to attain easy victories in the following 3 matches. There was only one 3-ringed opponent that appeared throughout the string of matches. The entire time, Tang Wulin served as the cornerstone of the team. He controlled the battlefield, protected his teammates, and dealt the most damage. Overall, he carried the team. Although his cultivation was weak, his innate divine strength and golden dragon claw made up for it and then some. He had yet to meet a worthy opponent in the team competition. By their fourth win, the other teams in their group had taken notice of them. They were wary of Tang Wulin especially. Tang Wulin's performances had been too dazzling, his attacks too intimidating. He also wielded a purple soul ring. The other teams realized that he always barged through as the vanguard. He kept the opposing team in check while his teammates did their part. As a result, he became a hot topic and a subject of research for those interested in his combat style, techniques, and weaknesses. Tang Wulin had a strict daily schedule. He would rise at the break of dawn to cultivate the purple demon eyes and practice controlling crane, capturing dragon. In the afternoon, he would compete, and at night he would meditate. His days were rich and productive. Actual combat was essential to his cultivation. As Tang Wulin grew more familiar with the basics of controlling crane, capturing dragon, he tried applying it in some of the matches. He couldn't wield it effectively, but his understanding of the technique continued to deepen. Not only was controlling crane, capturing dragon another method of attack, it also improved his control over the soul power compressed by the mysterious heaven method. His priority involved training what little soul power he possessed to burn at 100% each time he summoned it. I heard our opponents today are strong. They are probably the most formidable team in our group, Xie said to Tang Wulin. Tang Wulin nodded. Amen. That's right. It's Sealand Academy's primary team. I heard that they have 2 3-ringed Soul Masters and 1 2-ringed Soul Master. Our group's overall strength is actually pretty low. Sealand Academy's team also has 4 wins in 4 battles so far. The top 4 teams in our group will enter the top 16. We just need to win one more match. It's practically settled already. What's the plan for this match? Xie asked. You should let me show off for once. You've been hogging all the limelight. No one's paying attention to me. Tang Wulin lowered his voice, his words mysterious. The ones who burst out in the end are the trump cards. Those like me are the worst. I can only show my strength in the beginning. A look of astonishment crossed Xie's face. Really? But all the girls on the other teams only pay attention to you. I don't understand why, since I'm more handsome than you. Your skin sure is thick. You aren't even 1/3 as handsome as our captain. Xu Xiaoyan fought hard to contain her laughter. Xie's face soured, wrinkling like a prune. I hate people as blunt as you. Anyway, I want to show off a bit. I don't want to be a trump card. Just let me show off how awesome I am. Tang Wulin shrugged. Fine. We'll change our tactics. Although Wu Zhongkong had brought their team here, he gave them free rein to do as they saw fit. He did not impart any advice. Every single strategy they used had been drafted by Tang Wulin. All this freedom gave Tang Wulin a lot of space to operate. His display of strength in the previous matches were orchestrated to draw the attention away from Xie and Gu. Since they hadn't faced the strongest team in the tournament yet, they were saving their trump card for as long as they could. Their opponents would be tougher to defeat from now on. In fact, they might even face a Shrek team with Yi Xinglan and Xu Lixi on it. It was best to focus on hiding his teammates' abilities, using his revealed skills as a veil. Today, they would be facing off against Sealand Academy's primary team. Sealand City was the 3rd largest city in the Sky Sea Alliance, preceded by East Sea City. It was located 200 kilometers to the north of Sky Sea City. The city's denizens were valiant and Sealand Academy was famous, even eclipsing the repute of East Sea Academy. Sealand Academy's 3 representatives were nearing 15 years old. The team was composed of a pair of 3-ringed Soul Masters and 1 2-ringed. Even the 2-ringed Soul Master's soul power hovered around rank 25 at least. In their previous matches, they had relied on absolute strength to crush their opponents. These adolescents were one of the favorites of the tournament, thought to have a high chance of becoming the champions. Their captain possessed 1,000-year soul ring, but had yet to use it in any of the matches. Its abilities were unknown. "Oh right, I ran into an acquaintance of ours earlier," Xie said with a smirk. "Who?" Tang Wulin asked. Xie said, "It was our two former classmates, Yangzi and Jinzi. They are in the fourth group. It seems they've been able to win without a hitch, guided by a senior schoolmate." Wang Jinzi and Zhong Yangzi? Tang Wulin trembled at the mention of their names, recalling their battle with the man-faced demon spider together. His heart ached. If it wasn't for me, they wouldn't have had to leave. I called out to them and chatted. "Do you know what Jinzi said? The team he hopes they don't meet at all costs is us." Xie roared with laughter. A gentle sigh escaped from Tang Wulin's lips. "If they were still in Class 0, then we would only be one person short of participating in the 7-man team competition." Xie wiped the smile off of his face. He let out a long sigh. There's no one to blame in this matter. Everyone has their own ambitions. In any case, we're still in Class 0. Let's win today's match for the glory of Class 0. Tang Wulin raised his head, eyes shining with resolution. Victory! Victory! Xu Xiaoyan and Ji Yu joined in. The arenas used after the start of the round-robin tournament were larger and more secure than their predecessors. Only junior division matches were scheduled for the afternoon. Though the battles were broadcasted, there were still disgruntled spectators in the stands. Perhaps they would pay more attention once the top 16 teams remained. This was just a 3 versus 3 competition, after all. Sun with rays. Within Box 1. Box 1 was set aside for officials of Sky Sea City. During important matches, Sky Sea Alliance's big shots would congregate here to watch. For this reason, Box 1 was the largest box. However, Box 1 was desolate this afternoon. It was the junior division's time slot, beginning from the 3-man team battles. Rarely would a high-level match be seen in this division. Even so, the box was not completely empty. 2 people sat in a sofa viewing the matches on the screen. The pair seemed to be in their 50s. One was tall and stalwart with a head full of blazing red hair. His voice was deep, resonating throughout the box the moment he opened his mouth. "Brother Jinping, your Sealand Academy is really shining this time." The man called Jinping was slender with bronzed skin and small, sharp eyes. He smiled humbly. "Brother Huanqian is too modest. Your Sky Sea Academy is number 1 in the Alliance and no one shakes its position." The two were renowned figures among the Soul Masters of the Sky Sea Alliance. The red-haired man was Long Huanqian, the president of Sky Sea Academy and a 6-ringed Soul Emperor. Zhong Jinping was the president of Sealand Academy, and although his cultivation was still short of Long Huanqian's, he too was a Soul Emperor. "Brother Jinping, what did you call me here today for? Could it be the junior division's competition?" Long Huanqian gazed curiously at Zhong Jinping. Zhong Jinping nodded. "My academy has quite a few talents currently. I wanted to discuss with Brother Huanqian about granting us 3 quotas this time." Long Huanqian snapped into attention. Naturally, he knew what quotas Zhong Jinping spoke of. Those were the quotas to take Shrek Academy's entrance exam. Unlike other Soul Master Academies, Shrek Academy enrolled students once every 3 years. The various alliances and unions on the continent would select their most outstanding talents to apply. Applicants were required to be under 15 years old. There was no minimum soul power prerequisite, however, applicants must show excellence in at least one area. Because the Sky Sea Alliance was known to have inferior Soul Masters compared with other alliances, they received fewer quotas. Each time Shrek's enrollment came around, they were granted about 120 quotas. These 120 quotas would be split between dozens of cities. On average, each city received 2 or 3 of these. As the number 1 academy in the Sky Sea Alliance, Sky Sea Academy kept 20 to itself. Meanwhile, the other academies had to rely on luck and the whims of the Alliance. Naturally, Sky Sea Academy had a higher position than other normal academies. "Brother Jinping, your Sealand Academy has always managed to secure a few quotas with your strength. Why are you asking me for more? Long Huanqian spoke without batting an eyelash. After a moment of silence, Zhong Zhenpeng said, I'm not talking about the normal quotas. I'm asking for the inner court examination ones. Long Huanqian stared wide-eyed at the request, a powerful aura spilling out of his body. What did you say? The inner court quotas? They were given about 120 ordinary quotas. As for the inner court examination quotas, the entire Sky Sea Alliance was granted 5. This was the same number of fingers on a hand. These 5 quotas were usually monopolized by Sky Sea Academy. It was atypical that one would be given to an outstanding student in another academy. Even then, many conditions and benefits had to be offered as compensation. There was a distinct gap between Shrek Academy's inner and outer courts. Anyone who could become an inner court disciple would be the pride of the entire Sky Sea Alliance. However, several years had passed since someone from the Sky Sea Alliance had entered the inner court. Rarely did Shrek Academy's inner court admit more than 10 people at once. It wasn't an uncommon sight for them to accept none at all. One could imagine how difficult the exam was. Typically, the inner court disciples were promoted from the outer court. Only once in a blue moon would someone matriculate directly into the inner court. Despite this, inner court examination quotas were worth their weight in gold. Possessing this quota was like receiving the backing of the Sky Sea Alliance. Such lucky fellows were guaranteed admittance into the outer court if they failed the inner court examination. Thus, these 5 quotas were precious. They were practically 5 tickets to becoming a future battle armor master. Shrek Academy was very strict on its internal affairs. None of its students could participate in the continent's disputes. Even so, many of the restrictions were lifted after graduation. As long as they didn't tarnish Shrek Academy's name, the outer court graduates could choose their path without interference. Of course, becoming criminals was out of the question. The importance of a future battle armor master recommended by the academy was obvious. Zhong Zhenpeng asked for the inner court examination quotas so suddenly. How could Long Huanqian not be shocked? Brother Huanqian, hear me out first. I know it's rude to ask this of you, but my students this time are truly excellent. If I didn't believe they could pass the inner court examination, then I wouldn't request this of you. In the end, isn't Sealand Academy a part of the Sky Sea Alliance? Should my students enter the inner court, that would bring glory to the entire alliance. In fact, it might even increase the number of quotas we receive in the future. Shrek Academy had a rule that stated any region whose student had passed the inner court examination were due extra quotas in the future. Long Huanqian's expression was stern. Brother Zhenpeng, you should know that I don't have sole control of the inner court quotas. The decision is up to the alliance. Zhong Zhenpeng smiled calmly. He knew that this was just an excuse. Long Huanqian had no intention of giving up the quotas. How about this, Brother Huanqian? Watch a few of my disciples' matches first. If they can distinguish themselves in the junior division, perhaps you'll reconsider. We don't have much time until the examinations. In a non-committal manner, Long Huanqian said, all right. Let's see for now then. The screen in box 1 displayed the arena. The 2 competing teams had just entered. On one side was a team of 3 girls. The leader of the 3 stood tall and had sky blue hair. Though no more than 15 years old, she was slender, bearing the elegant charms of a lady. To her left was a girl whose appearance mirrored hers. Only the shade of her hair, light green like meadow, was different. Such a hair color was few and far in between. The contrast between their identical faces and different hair tones drew Long Huanqian's attention. Long Huanqian understood his old friend and knew that Zhong Zhenpeng would not speak without thinking. Since he made such a request, he must hold utmost confidence in his disciples. Apart from the twins, the remaining girl had a head of blonde hair. Her figure was thin and she towered over her teammates. She looked like a bean sprout and her bright eyes were striking. The blonde one is Wang Dongqi. Her martial soul is the Thunder Flash sword. She has 3 rings and is a rank 32 assault-type soul master. The blue-haired one and green-haired one are twin sisters. They are Zhu Hanyu and Zhu Tiana, respectively. Zhu Hanyu has 3 rings and is at rank 31. Zhu Tian'er has 2 rings at rank 27. Zhong Zhenpeng introduced his 3 disciples briefly. Long Huanqian nodded in approval. He studied their competition statistics and was alarmed, sucking in a deep breath. He was not surprised that Sealand Academy's team had 4 victories in the round-robin tournament. Yet, their opponents from East Sea Academy also had 4 wins. Moreover, it was East Sea Academy's tertiary team. Although East Sea City was large, it was not blessed by talents often. As such, East Sea Academy ranked slightly below the median. The fact that their tertiary team accumulated these victories added to Long Huanqian's disbelief. A single glance was needed to see how young they were. Have you paid any attention to this team from East Sea Academy, Brother Zhenpeng? Long Huanqian asked. A strange expression slithered its way across Zhong Zhenpeng's face. He gave a slight nod. I watched them for a bit. That team is really peculiar. Although they are really young, their combat strength is extraordinary. Oh. Long Huanqian directed a look of inquiry at him. He understood his friend's high standards, aware that such an evaluation would not be given lightly. East Sea Academy's tertiary team is composed completely of 10-year-olds. Their captain is called Tang Wulin and he only has 1 ring. That being said, it's a 1,000-year ring. In the previous matches, he was able to fend off the combined attacks of his opponents alone. His martial soul is supposedly blue-silver grass, though it is likely a variant. His body's strength is extraordinary and his right hand can transform into a dragon's claw. From my observations, he shouldn't have twin martial souls. I haven't seen a second ring appear yet. Maybe it's one of those rare soul bones. If Long Huanqian was surprised a moment ago, then now he was in denial. Zhong Zhenpeng actually paid so much attention to East Sea's tertiary team. The understanding between Zhong Zhenpeng and Long Huanqian went both ways. A smile appeared on Zhong Zhenpeng's lips as he stared at Long Huanqian, fully aware of his friend's thoughts. You'll understand once the match begins. These kids aren't normal by any means. If they hadn't met my team, then would have continued their winning streak most likely. East Sea Academy must have recruited an amazing teacher, otherwise, how else could they have raised such astounding talents? This video will end here.